With the long weekend ahead of us, the Lloydminster RCMP wants to remind Lloydminster residents to stay safe. Our Connor Chan chatted with Constable Michael Hagel for more.
Constable Hagel from the Lloydminster RCMP joins me today. Constable Hagel, I know it's a long weekend coming up. It's one of the last long weekends of the summer. So what are some general safety tips that the public can follow as we get ready for the weekend?
Every weekend's the same advice. If you're going to go out in the boat, don't drink and drive. Any liquor on board could net you substantial fines, as well as you could even lose your driver's license if you are caught impaired driving on a boat. Same rules apply for the road. If you're going to the summer barbecues on the long weekend, find a designated driver, find a safe ride home.
You know, people always want to get out on a long weekend early. They want to get that head start. So how often do we see people speeding on the long weekend there?
Long weekends are statistically a lot higher for collisions. So you will see a lot more our police presence on the roads this weekend. They'll be stopping every car they see, again, checking for, with mandatory alcohol screening in Alberta, they'll be making you provide a sample in the ASD.
One thing with camping, we always see people driving trailers along the highway there as they get ready to go camping. What are some tips that you can give for people that are towing trailers so they make sure that there's no major accident involved with that?
Just make sure you're not overloading your trailer. Make sure your vehicle is adequate and can carry the weight it needs. The last thing we need is a trailer breaking off and flying down the highway.
Now, COVID-19 obviously has put a damper on a lot of large gatherings. Is there going to be a police presence per se controlling those large environments?
The last thing we want to do as the police is interrupt anyone's having a good time. As long as you're maintaining your social distance, which is the 6 feet, you won't have too much issue with the police this weekend.
You mentioned earlier about the rules on the water. Are there any kind of Lake Patrol RCMP that monitor those areas to make sure everyone is safe?
Absolutely. A lot of detachments do have their own boat patrol, and they will be out this long weekend looking for people not obeying the boating rules. A big boating rule, make sure you have someone watching as a spotter if you are towing someone behind your boat.
Now, for just general preparedness, what's one thing people should keep with them in case their car unfortunately does break down?
I'd always recommend carrying a safety kit. That's always a blanket, some pylons, even a road flare, simple carbohydrates, whether that's granola bars or crackers, and definitely bottled water. Make sure you're carrying a cell phone charger. Make sure your phone is charged. And as always, if you are traveling somewhere, let people know when you're leaving and when you're supposed to arrive.
What are some of the common things on these long weekends that RCMP see people forgetting to do?
People are very excited to get away for the long weekend, and sometimes they like to start drinking a little bit too early. So our RCMP officers will be looking for open liquor in vehicles. That includes open cases of beer or open cases of other alcohol within easy reach of the driver, and that's a fine you don't want to get.
And lastly, just before we wrap things up here, Constable Hagel, is there anything else that you would like to add on to that?
You bet. You know what? It's a long weekend. It's going to be, the weather's shaping up to be really good. It's really important you take your time getting out to the lake. Don't speed. Don't rush. Wear your seatbelts.
Well, Constable Hagel, I really appreciate your time. Thanks very much for joining me today.